would pray for Dad to come back to the church.
How can he not believe anymore? He's breaking his promise to me, to God.
I would say, please, please, please bless that Daddy will come back to the church.
What happens if I don't believe anymore? Is she still going to love me the way I am?
But now I kind of feel like me and him have a better connection now that he's not in the church.
I wish this wasn't happening.
Hi, welcome to Unequally Yoked. I'm Neal Winters.
And I'm Naomi.
And it's time for episode 14.
Not exactly sure where this is going to go.
Yeah.
But here's how it is. Okay? So, I've been sensitive the past week. My lady business is coming. So that may have a lot to do with it.
Aunt Flo.
Yeah. All my insecurities tend to come out and become exacerbated at that time and come to the surface. And so some of the things that I've been feeling have been that you must think I'm really stupid and illogical. Mm-hmm. That you think I'm lazy, like I'm not getting enough done around the house, need to work, that you aren't sexually attracted to me because we haven't been intimate for really, like you haven't seemed interested that way. And so that kind of came out tonight. I looked in the mail and Neal had a book that the title is, something like A Manual for Creating Atheists. And so it kind of all came to, oh, great. So there's not only all this other stuff that he hates about me, but there's still this main bone of contention where he can't stand what I believe and stand for. Mm-hmm. So I lashed out, was just voicing my frustrations and, just was like, what are you going to teach our kids that? And he was like, well, you teach our kids the other. I'm like, I totally see that it's not fair, that we're doing the same thing. It's not rational. I'm just, it's worrisome and upsetting to me. Mm-hmm. Like I'm having emotions about it. And so you left and tell what you're feeling. What that made you feel.
Well, first of all, the reason why I got that book is because there's a book club coming up. And I didn't order it with any ulterior motives other than to read it for the book club, for the humanist. So I wasn't where I guess you read into it that I was buying this to convert the kids.
Well, and other people and anyone and me and the fact that I know that's a subject you're interested in is still, you must know because you couldn't stand that I was giving a lesson on missionary work.
No.
It's not fun.
No, and seeing my kids being taught that all the time is not easy. Yeah. I don't appreciate them learning that, but yet I allow them to.
Yeah.
And I am in the minority in this household in terms of my beliefs. I have to drive an hour each direction to be with people who share similar beliefs with me. And it's not something that's just like, oh, this is an easy thing to do. I mean, I love the people, don't get me wrong. But it's not like you who gets to go just down the street to church every day or every Sunday and be with those people. I get it every other week, and I have to drive a long ways to get those needs met. So to suggest that I am reading this for conversion thing or to convert people, I might not. I'm reading it to bond with the people who I spend my quote spiritual time with. And I don't think it's fair to hold it against me if I want to have a book that talks about this.
And it's not. It's a total double standard on me. Like, it's not fair. It's not right. And I don't expect you to not read it. It just was particularly bothersome at this time because I'm feeling really insecure about how you feel toward me. And so it was just like, you're willing to go to the ends of the earth to like enjoy all of that stuff, but it feels like you've been avoiding me lately. So,
well, there's a few things going on. Number one, I guess I've been keeping you out of my emotions for the last little bit. A lot of that revolves around things I can't really talk about. You know what it is, but I can't talk about it because of who listens to this. And that is weighing very heavily on my mind. It's pretty much front and center.
Does it make you feel insecure?
Yeah, absolutely.
About yourself?
Yeah.
And that's what I try to tell myself.
And I guess the only outlet that I have right now is work and going to the gym.
Yeah.
Which is taking a lot of time. But it's, I don't know. It's not a...
Which I've gained weight from Christmas. I'm like, oh, he's going to the gym to hint that he can't stand that I'm not as small as I have been in the past.
No, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with me and how I view myself. And I think let's talk a little bit about what I said to kind of spark these emotions. I think it comes down to one day when I was frustrated with you because we hadn't had dinner and the kids were kind of going crazy. And I tried to hold it in, but you could tell something was wrong with...
I made you say something.
And I really didn't want to.
Yeah.
And
I'm not a big girl. I can't just like go, yeah, I can... I totally see how you feel that way. I do. I would feel that way too. But I'm a stupid girl that's like, something's wrong with me. He must hate me. Have I done this checklist today? Have I gotten enough done for him to feel like I did enough today?
Yeah. And that's... It's a tough... Sorry, I always stutter when I want to say something, but I feel like a walking contradiction because I want you to not feel like you have this specific womanly role and that you have all these expectations. Yet at the same time, I have the expectations because, I go to work and I want the kids to be taken care of, and then there's part of me that's like, okay, if you end up going to work, how are we going to work this? Because there's going to have to be a lot more give and take, especially from me, not so well from you too. And it's just a difficult situation. Okay, that's it. Have a great day. Thanks for listening.
The end. No, well, first off, if you could tell me that you like me.
Oh, I like you.
That you're still sexually attracted to me.
Yes, I am. I am. I'm just in a bad place.
We'll share. I mean, with me, not on air, but you have to talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't let me into what's going on, I assume it's me.
Right.
And that you're in that place again where you're just not liking things, and so you're turning to whatever else to deal with your stuff instead of me. And I'm your wife.
Right. I think this has been a constant internal battle for me because I want to share, and yet I don't.
Because of how I reacted.
I mean, how you react, and
Exactly.
because I don't
self-fulfilled that.
I don't want to hurt your feelings. And it's not always you, it's me just shutting down emotionally because I don't want to emotionally deal with everything that's going on in my life.
Well, I'm not even asking you to share everything of, like, when I'm bugging you. I don't do that, But tell me when you're struggling. Tell me why. Tell me, it's driving me nuts. And I'm going to probably look like angry right now or hurt. And just know it's not about you. It's about this. And I don't know, think of something I can do. And maybe all you need is time alone. Maybe you need to just be away and not worry about how I feel about myself, And if you state it, then I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and I guess that's part of the reason why I'm going to the gym, is for that alone time and to just kind of...
You're not avoiding me because
No.
you can't stand me?
No, not at all.
It's not a subtle hint to get my butt there.
No, like I said, it's all about me. I've put on a little weight, and I want to be able to see my junk looking down and not my belly.
I don't have a problem with that. I can see your junk.
But I don't know. There's just so much going on that I can't say.
As far as the woman's role, like, part of me likes being in that role.
Mm-hmm.
I like having that division of labor. I don't like that I feel limited in what I can do, because
With
I
your
want
pain.
I want to accomplish way more than I feel like I can. And so I'm not doing the job that I hold myself up to, what I used to be able to.
Right, and then it doesn't help when I pile on, whether intentionally or unintentionally.
No, because you should be able to voice your frustration. I know it's frustrating for you. It's frustrating for me. You go and work so hard at work, and if you have a bad day, you don't want to have to come home and have total chaos and no dinner ready, You ought to be able to be frustrated with that. I would be. I am. I'm frustrated with myself with that.
Yeah. I can just hear all the ladies who are into women's rights screaming at you and saying...
But you know what? For me, that's what I like. It works for us. It's a good division of labor. It works. I love being with the kids. I love trying to make this place a home. It's what I do.
Right.
And if that's not you, cool. Don't be that way. Divide it how it works for you. But don't knock on someone that does something that works for them.
Yeah.
So
I just don't want you to feel like that's my whole vision of you, that you're only good for being a mom and a wife and
oh, I could do whatever I wanted.
Yeah. And I want you to.
I will. I just don't want to miss these precious years with my kids.
That's fair.
I mean, the teaching moments that you have with your kids, you can't ever plan them. It's the most interesting times when a conversation comes up and you're teaching something in little 30-second increments, and I don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
Anyway, side note.
So what else is on your mind, Naomi?
Well, this is just in general, I was thinking today about an experience that I had. I won't go into who it was, but somebody was voicing that they felt a certain way.
That's very specific.
Yeah. Okay. So they were voicing that he kind of felt not like we weren't being thankful for something that he was providing for us, and kind of explained, why, and that was hard for him and his wife. And some of the response, and I think this is what we all do as humans, we get defensive. Or like, well, you shouldn't feel that way. Of course we're thankful. Here's what we did to show it. What's wrong with you? Why are you trying to, what is your ulterior motive in trying to make me feel bad about something that I shouldn't have to feel bad about? That's the normal response for people when somebody shares how they feel and it seems like an attack on you or it seems unwarranted in your mind. You get defensive and you tell them, well, you shouldn't feel that way because da da da.
Right.
And, you start accusing, well, this is why you feel that way and you're trying to hurt me or whatever. And so
everyone starts pointing fingers.
Yeah. And it becomes a huge fight, which is what happened, which was really stupid because I was thinking today about why this whole conversation stuff works for us. And it's because I wanted to explain this to people because I'm sure it's happening in relationships you have. It still happens to us and we have to catch ourselves. But when somebody is telling you how they're feeling, I love that person. If Neal tells me he's hurting, right? And that it's because of some action that I've done, I don't care if it's fair or not. I don't care if it's warranted or if he shouldn't feel that way. The fact is, he feels that way. And I don't want him to feel that way because I love him. So my response should be, instead of being defensive and be like, why would you feel that way? Look, why are you accusing me? You shouldn't feel this way. My response is, well, shucks. I don't want you to feel that way. I am very grateful. What could I be doing different to let you know that I am?
Yeah.
Because I want you to feel that way.
I do.
And I think you do that better than me. I think you're really good at it. But I was just having this thought today, like, this big, gosh, I wish people got that. We wouldn't have fights. Like, why do we have to take it so personally, like we're being attacked? If we're talking about just that somebody's feeling something and that they don't want to feel that way, then you talk about, well, I don't want you to feel that way either. What can we do?
I think it's human nature to read ulterior motives into I statements. At least, especially in Utah, where people are so passive-aggressive about communicating their feelings and communicating what they want.
Yeah, like that only happens in Utah.
It happens.
That might just be because our families.
No, it's very, very normal.
Our close friends.
Be sure to shave your beard. Be sure to take pictures of your beard before you shave it off and come see me.
Are you sure that's not just my side of the family? My grandma.
No, it's. I think it's pretty normal.
Yeah.
Everybody's passive aggressive in different ways, but I mean, it comes down to how we first interacted at the beginning of our marriage. You started using passive aggressive techniques on me.
Did I?
A little bit, yeah. And then I
And I didn't mean to because...
No, you didn't.
I felt like I couldn't come right out and ask you to do something. I felt like that was too forward and mean because if you didn't want to, then you couldn't shut me down.
Yeah.
So I was like, instead of saying, hey, could you get me a drink of water? I'd be like, I'm really thirsty.
Yeah, and
I didn't realize what I was saying is, I
No.
need a drink of water. Could you go get me one?
yeah, and that really got under my skin. So I told you,
So thank goodness she told me.
say what you mean, and don't just beat around the bush. But most of us, myself included, will beat around the bush because we don't want to come out and say the point. Why do you think I
don't want to impose on the other person.
No, I mean that's why I stutter on this podcast, is because I'm afraid to get my point out,
Yeah.
even though I don't mean like now.
Yeah.
I don't mean to stutter, but I do because I don't want to offend people or say something that's over the top.
Yeah.
Try to choose my words.
Taken the wrong way. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I was listening to the Infants on Thrones interview with us. I was like, holy cow, I pause and stutter a heck of a lot. It makes me very self-conscious.
Don't we all worry way too much what people think?
But you're good at getting out what you think in one fell swoop. You are. You say what's on. I mean, that it helps that you had a lot of public speaking and debate experience because you were forced to put it out there.
Well, and
as it came to mind.
When you're the youngest in a family, you have to do a lot of talking to get anyone to listen to you.
That's true.
Just kidding.
That's very true.
Mom.
So where are we going from here?
You said you were hurt.
Yeah, I talked about why. I mean,
Tell me more about that.
Well,
I'm not sure.
It's hard to be in the minority, to see your kids taught something that you disagree with, to see people encourage your kids in ways that you don't like, posting things on Facebook that I'm like, come on, you don't need to tell my kids that.
Yeah. Which even they feel that way.
Yeah. I mean, and they're sincere when they say it, but
they're misguided.
And I just don't like that. I want my kids to think for themselves. And so I come home and you do prayers, you do scripture study.
No, we don't.
Well, you do prayers sometimes.
We try.
You talk about church. The boys share goals about reading the scriptures with you.
Yeah, that was new this Sunday. Huh?
Yeah, and I'm here like, okay, there's me. I can't say anything to the kids because that'll upset the balance in the family. And sometimes it gets overwhelming.
And it does seem pretty silly that I was frustrated when you put up with so much.
Yeah. So yeah, I was mad and I was swearing under my breath, but then I started thinking about it. It really was painful to think about and to deal with. I just don't like being in the minority. And
I feel like I'm in the minority too, which is really weird, but in different ways.
How?
Well, in our religion, they teach the ideal, and the bulk of people are closer to that ideal as far as
they show you
as what a family is supposed to look like, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm outside the norm, and a lot of the ideal lessons don't apply and can't be applicable in this situation. I have to adapt to our own personal situation. And so lessons aren't taught for the adaptation person. They're taught for the majority. And I don't know a lot of people either in my church. I haven't gotten close to anyone.
You know more people in the humanist group, probably.
I do. I'm closer to your humanist group than anyone. Well, there's a couple that I'm close to that we go out with sometimes. But.
Yeah. Is that a function of me not going to church with you? And
probably because ever since we were married, I am more confident with you by my side.
Mm-hmm.
You joke, you just make me feel confident like I can get out of my circle.
And now you're...
And I lost my wingman. I'm not confident now. I'm this weird person that comes to church with
5 kids.
Part of her kids.
Also, yeah,
sometimes,
4 of her kids.
Sometimes not. And I mean, people don't know me.
Should they be going out of their way to get to know you?
I don't know what their lives are like. I'm not reaching out. There have definitely been people who have reached out to me.
Yeah, and to us.
Yeah. I don't fault anything that they've done. It's a tough situation.
Well, I mean, I guess that's part of what I've done with the humanist group is I've really forced myself into the circle. And they've reciprocated.
Yeah.
They really have.
Easier in your circle because there's less of them. It's a smaller crowd.
Yeah.
And you've gone to all the activities. I don't feel like I can go to all the activities because it means leaving you, which is the whole family leaving you, not just me going for an hour while you're doing something else. It's, okay, let's leave Daddy at home while the whole family goes to this picnic, you know? Because you don't feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I could go, but
it's painfully uncomfortable for me, too, because you're squirming, you know? Like, going to the Halloween thing, even. We're just trick-or-treating. There's nothing going on spiritual, and I, like, feel the tension going on with you, and it's not the same.
Well, you can go without me. Sometimes I enjoy time alone at the house. I can watch my Game of Thrones or something while you're gone.
Do tell me what you do while I'm gone.
Watch heavy movies that you don't want the kids to see.
Are they naked?
Occasionally, and usually it's a lot of swearing.
What are we going to do about teaching our boys about respecting women and pornography?
Haven't thought about that.
'Cause I have seriously strong opinions on that.
Well, I'm going to teach them that
To jack off.
that is normal, and there's nothing to feel ashamed about for it.
Sons, jack off. It's good.
I mean, I was reading something today, or yesterday, about what people did when they were horny teenagers, boys especially, where and when they masturbated because they were so horny. I mean, I have my own stories, but it's normal. And I didn't realize it was normal as a teenager, and I have a sincere problem with making boys feel ashamed for that. The hormones are raging through their bodies. Their little factory is going into overdrive, and it's the abnormal kid who doesn't do it. And
So here's what I have to say.
And the feeling that every time you do it, you're going to hell, and the shame you feel because of it, no, I'm not going to subject our boys to those feelings.
So I don't disagree with anything you say, but I must add something to it.
Thou shalt not add to nor take away from what thy husband says.
From what Neal says. Okay. Like, the thing is, I was telling our daughter who, doesn't agree with things. For me, my ideal is self-mastery. Like, I want to feel like I am in complete control of myself.
Well, and
like I can pick and choose and do whatever I want, and I have nothing that's going to stand in the way of that. And that means being able to control impulses even when I really, really want to do it.
But sometimes those impulses are healthy.
Maybe.
Sometimes they're healthy.
So I do not want to shame our kids. I don't want them. Anytime that there's something that I teach them of hey, I believe it would be better to engage in this behavior and it would be better to not engage in this behavior. I don't want them to feel shame. I want them to see, okay, this is what we're talking about aiming for. We're never going to be there. Why is it bad to have a goal?
But I guess what you see not masturbating as self-mastery.
I do. You want to know why?
But let me finish. I see it, maybe you master when you do it. Or maybe you say, okay, I've decided I'm going to do this, and you make a conscious decision. You don't just lop your way into it. But I think abstaining hurts in the long run, young men. I do. And I think there are studies that would back me up from psychologists.
Well, let me tell you how I feel when I know that you masturbate. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I start to wonder if you like the experience with your hand more than me. If I'm not satisfying you because you know how to satisfy yourself more than me. And so you're choosing that over me.
Mm-hmm.
And so if like we haven't done something very often, I'm like, oh, I guess I didn't do it good enough last time for him. He must not be attractive. Maybe I should be, dressing different or putting on a better hairstyle or makeup for him because I'm not doing it. He's having to take care of his own business. And so for me, it's not just about you. It's about a relationship. And things that are natural or normal doesn't always mean that that's a great idea to go with it.
And see, I, on the other hand, would say I think you should masturbate.
And that's great that you feel that way, dear.
I do. I think it...
But I don't feel that way about you. And you still are just like, well, I'm gonna.
Don't do it that often.
Yeah.
I really don't. So
is that because you haven't mastered yourself? Like you can't not?
I don't know.
Could you make yourself stop?
It would be difficult.
And same thing with pornography?
It would be difficult. I try not to, and I usually don't, but...
And now that you've started drinking, if you decided drinking wasn't what you want to be a part of, how would it be trying to stop now that you know what it's like?
It depends on what my motivation was for it. But right now, I don't have the desire to stop, so...
Any of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't really judge it.
Yeah, I mean,
So you would say, don't teach our kids to have that desire. It's silly.
To a certain extent. I would teach our kids to know when it's appropriate to express that desire. Don't go on Pee Wee Herman and go into a porno theater and spill your seed all over the seat in front of you. I'm serious. I mean...
No, I know.
That is self-control that's appropriate to not do that. But when you're in your bedroom or in the shower and you see a woman in a burqa because women in burqas really turn you on, take care of business.
Even if your wife is in the bed right next to you.
I was talking about the boys. I wasn't talking about me.
So yeah, that's a subject.
That's a subject. Once again, hello, listeners. We love to talk about
whatever
our
comes to mind
over masturbation.
Did we? We haven't talked about that one yet. Just pornography.
Pornography, and yeah, we have. I have little on the website. I have topics that I check off for each show to categorize them. So somebody wants to hear a show that deals with masturbation or the church's stance on homosexuals, all these things that we've talked about, you can go and do a search because I've categorized it. How's that for exciting?
Well, do you feel better now that we've talked?
I think so, yeah. Yeah. I need to go and read my manual for creating atheists.
So tell me, you're feeling insecure because this thing that you can't talk about that's bugging you.
Uh-huh.
What can I do to make you feel better about yourself?
Nothing. I mean, you're doing what you can.
What kind of compliments would...
I don't really think there's much you can say.
Because I can think of all sorts of compliments. What would be things you need to hear?
Sometimes compliments get annoying.
Okay, you're such a man. Physical?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Just hanging out with me and
Hold your hand.
hold my hand, cuddle. You know, I don't really have anything that's like, oh, this will make it all better. I mean, there's
Things like I missed you, telling you how
yeah, that's nice.
I think you're a great dad because such and such.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. Those types of things, but none of this, oh, you're so great.
And it was really pretty cool how awesomely you cleaned out the garage. I gotta tell you.
Well, the garage still has a long ways to go.
But do you know how much you got done? Holy crap. So see, I don't know if stuff like that just makes you uncomfortable.
That's okay.
If it's helpful to hear, because this stuff does run through my head.
Yeah, I just don't like compliments that are compliments just to be compliments. You're going to be famous someday. You're so great.
But if I'm walking by and I'm like, your butt looks hot.
Yeah,
And I want to grab it, that's good, right?
Yeah, it's sincere. It's like there's a reason for it. You're not just saying it to say it.
Yeah.
I don't like insincere compliments.
Okay, because if I say stuff, it's because it came to my head.
Yeah.
Not because...
And you usually don't give insincere compliments.
No. You just get all weird when I compliment you.
I don't like it very much.
But I think you need to hear it.
Sometimes.
Okay. Well, I would like you to freaking touch me.
I need to do that more often.
And tell me that I'm pretty.
You are.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm in my pajamas.
You put on your makeup yesterday, and I wasn't even home to see it.
Yeah.
I thought you looked good when I got home, even though there were...
You wouldn't have said anything or noticed it, except for that I said, hey, I'm all decked out today. Meet me for lunch. You wouldn't have. You would have been in your own world. And
yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of where you've been lately.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a good Christmas break.
Did we?
It was nice to have time off, yeah. And it was like in the 70s here, so it was beautiful. Now it's in the 39s and 20s.
I don't like that.
The 29s and 30s?
Yeah, I liked the 70s.
That's Fahrenheit for anybody listening outside of America.
True.
Not Celsius.
So what else is new in our lives?
We're just plugging away.
I don't know if you knew this, but our little 10-year-old is giving me trouble about praying.
Oh, is he?
He's like, I forgot how to pray. I don't know how to pray. I feel stupid. I don't know what to say. I don't know what that's about. He's been praying since forever.
Huh.
It's weird.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to get your thoughts on and listeners' thoughts on, if they so desire, is I'm thinking of kind of branching out and doing a Neal's Rants, either segment or
some episodes.
Or some episodes where I just kind of talk and go off on things. and it's not, I don't want it to be like a bash religion or whatever, but just talk about, kind of give perspective to you if you're a believer on what's going through my mind. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. I'll probably do one and post it like next week or something. I've got it written. I just need to record it and get it out there. So, anything else?
I don't know. We didn't really talk about that. I feel like you think I'm not scientific and illogical.
I think you do a good job of that. I do. I mean, I disagree with some of your science and logic, but
I was reading an essay of my dad's, and he was in, what was he, physics major before he went into dentistry. And then also was listening to our daughter's tutor. She was, doing probability and statistics, and my dad's essay was on the alpha and beta. Do they call it a mistake or theory or judgment? I don't know. But anyway, there's like the science usually accepts about a 95% probability for being, yes, this theory is right. But there's always that 5% that it's not, that you got it wrong. And then there's always that, let's say we have 75% that something's right, and that's not enough, so they're not going to accept it. And there's always that chance that it is, even if you have a 50-50. And so the idea was that he was talking about was kind of choosing, because you can't prove beyond doubt anything when it comes to, really, if you say anything. And he was talking about saying, I can look at evidence this way, I can look at evidence that way, and I have to make a choice. And when I was listening to probability and statistics,
you can prove things beyond doubt.
I could make very good mathematic and scientific.
You can prove that 2 + 2
arguments.
equals 4.
No, there are some math problems where that's not.
2 + 2 will always equal 4, unless you're someone who is said, what if the Bible said 2 + 2 equals 5, and then you say, well, I'll just figure out a way to make that work.
You're so bad.
No, there is a preacher.
I want you to talk to the mathematician in my family and talk to her about that. 2 + 2 equaling 4,
okay,
always.
I'll do that.
Anyway, so I was just... There are plenty of scientists that could make argument for God with science and reason. And I don't feel like that is ever accepted by the regular atheist. And that bugs me, because it makes me think that they're looking down on me like I'm stupid.
Well, I disagree with your conclusion, but
which is fine.
You're allowed to make it.
I'm willing to admit that there's scientific stuff that can prove your way. Why is it fair to not admit that there's scientific reasoning things that could prove my way? Like you said, it's how you interpret the evidence. I mean, there's books that say, I don't have enough faith to not believe in God, because the probability of this earth coming into existence and able to support life is very, very small. And where somebody would see that and say, okay, this makes me believe in God even more because of the unlikelihood of this. I look at it and say, just because it's our earth doesn't mean that there isn't a probability that this would happen spontaneously.
So, like you said, we're taking the same.
The probability, if you're looking at the math,
Well, it's like this.
is that this is so organized, it's illogical to think that there wasn't something or someone
No, it's not.
that is intelligent enough to organize it.
Let me give you an illustration as to where I'm coming from. There's a baseball game. You go to a baseball game as a fan. What are the odds that a ball will be hit into the stands and somebody will catch that ball, or somebody will end up with that ball?
It would depend on who's playing.
No.
And other stats.
No.
You can't figure it out for sure at all, but you can talk about probability.
I'm saying, what is a probability that there will be a ball hit into the stands that somebody will end up with in a game?
What answer do you want?
The answer is nearly 100%. I don't think there's ever been a game when there hasn't been a foul ball hit at a professional venue hit into the stands.
Right.
But what are the odds that if you're at that game, what are the odds that you will be the person that it comes to? Very slim.
Right.
So there is a very strong probability that a ball will be hit into the stands. In other words, there's a strong probability that somewhere an earth will be formed.
Where are you getting
spontaneously.
that? Look around.
I'm saying
Where is that?
the odds of it being us are slim, but we happen to fall on that lucky planet that everything lined up with.
If you take every atom and every element and you figure out the probability of the many different ways that it could become organized and the few ways of organization that it would take to create
Every
any
atom
speck
is
of
organized.
life.
Every atom is organized. All these stars are organized. It's just ours was organized in such a way that it
talking about
enabled life. It enabled life. But there is a strong possibility that there's other life out there in the planets. Not that it's probably not a lot of them, because odds are so slim that this type of organization will happen, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen.
I just think if you're looking at the evidence, 95% says it's very unlikely that it would happen just by chance.
I disagree. I totally and completely disagree.
Do the math. Because what you would do, if I'm doing the math, like what the tutor was teaching me, I would have to take every element.
Like I said, the odds
and
there
all
are
the different
there are the
combinations
odds, the
that
odds
it could
that
make.
Yes, there are. The odds are that this wouldn't happen to sustain life, but the odds are very slim that it would happen to sustain life. But it does happen, and it doesn't happen that often. And like I said, we are one of the few lucky pinpricks that it happened to. And somewhere out there, millions of light years away, there is life.
You think it is more reasonable to assume luck instead of an intelligence that organized?
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I'm baking cookies, and it is more logical.
That's not how life evolved. That's not how life evolved.
No, I'm saying I take ingredients, right? I put them together in a specific way. Heat happens, whatever. That's how Earth was. That's how things are.
But it's gradual.
Okay.
Billions and billions of years.
Okay, but it's still the same concept.
Is 10 minutes. No, it's not. It's different.
Well, shouldn't it mean even more that there's more probabilities and things that you have to look at as far as combinations of what it would take to do something to sustain an Earth that has the perfect conditions?
But the perfect conditions are going to go away. Humanity is a rare blip on this Earth. It took billions of years for us to come into existence, and odds are that within a few 100,000 years we'll drive ourselves into extinction, and this Earth and this universe will go on, and then the sun will blow up in billions of years, and it will be gone.
Okay. I can see that logic.
That is the destiny of this thing. And it took billions of years for us to evolve into existence. Of little minute changes every generation to where we came to where we're at.
I still think it's more like cookies.
That's fine. That's fine.
But more complex than cookies.
I think consciousness is a rare gift.
Well, then how did that come to be?
I don't know.
How did that evolve?
Consciousness? I don't know. It's pretty amazing, though. And I think it ends when we die. Just like a computer.
We're just a bunch of computers.
No, we're a lot more complex than a computer. But
So, you think a computer could happen by chance?
no.
Given billions and billions of years? Well, if we're more complex than a computer...
But a computer is built differently than we are.
Designed.
Designed and built differently than we are.
Doesn't it seem design is important?
I don't think
I
it's
think
a
you
design.
have to have a design.
No.
A blueprint. Something this complex? No, it doesn't
Look
just
at how
happen.
we came into existence.
Okay, you're
Layers
asking
upon
me
layers upon
to
layers of
believe
evolution.
that if it snows enough in different ways, it's going to create a snowman.
No, absolutely
Given
not.
enough time.
No.
That's exactly what you're asking.
No, it's not. Because the snow is coming down in a specific way and will not create a snowman. We started as a single-celled organism. Who knows how many years ago. And that single-cell organism had a mutation in its genes, and it became 2 cells. And then those 2 cells had more mutations in their genes
What
and
caused
divided.
the mutation?
Chance, random chance. Could be a mercury ion in the air. It could have been sulfur.
The difference between believing and non-believing is you're betting on chance.
I know there's
betting,
chance.
And I'm betting on design.
Yeah, I know there's chance. Every generation has an evolution take place.
But that's a good synopsis of what it comes down to. You're betting on chance, I'm betting on design.
Yeah. Yep.
So but do you see how I can see what you're saying logically, but you don't give any credence to what I see? You're not...
I understand where you're coming from, but I completely and utterly disagree with it.
Okay, well, back at you. But that whole but just kind of takes away of, oh, I can see your logic.
I understand your
Do
logic.
you see my logic?
I understand your logic.
It is not flawed logic.
I understand your logic, and I completely and utterly disagree with it.
But it's not flawed logic. Neither is yours.
I don't think so.
You can have logic that is good logic and still have it conclude.
Yeah. I would like to get
completely
a scientist on air to talk about this.
Oh, I would hate that. Do your own atheist show then, because I don't even know why we talked about this. It was just supposed to be relationships, so I'm sorry I sidetracked us.
Yeah.
But I guess,
okay.
I mean, that's the reason why it was personal to me. You got a book, and here you are like, oh, I need to help my poor, uneducated, unreasonable wife that doesn't understand science. Which, what you just said supports how I'm feeling, like, oh, we need to get a scientist on here.
No,
Let me help you.
I'm also saying I don't understand. I'm sure a scientist would listen to me talk and say you're spouting bad information. I'm not saying you're not the only one. I'm not saying you're the only one. I'm saying I don't know everything, and I would like to have somebody come on.
Scientists.
They know a heck of a lot more than I do.
They know a lot more than us.
They know much more than me.
Yeah.
And I'm probably giving bad information.
Yeah. I would think that even if we did that, we could have two scientists come on. And you would have one that is interpreting the evidence the way you do, and you would have one that is interpreting the evidence I do, and they would come to the same impasse.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's what it comes down to. You're looking at the same evidence, and you're either judging it more probable that it was by chance or more probable that it was by design.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yep. Okay.
Anyway, I got sidetracked lots in this one. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we're about at an hour and I'm tired.
All right. Love you. Good night.
Okay. Just quickly, we appreciate our contributors, supporters on Patreon and PayPal. If you're interested in contributing, feel free. There are links on the webpage. Also, I would like to start doing an email segment. So if you want to, send us an email at unequallyyoked666@gmail.com.
You did not do that.
Oh, I did.
Oh, you little...
So, yeah, I'd love to hear from you. And if you email us, it's something we'd probably want to read over the air. So let us know if you want us to use your name or not. And
or not read it over the air.
Yeah, whatever. So,
and maybe let him know if you want me to read it, because I rarely look at stuff.
Yeah. So, anyway, I think that's about it. And if you live in the North Carolina area and need a wedding DJ, let me know.
But bam, he rocks.
Okay, that's it. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you in the future, hopefully next week.
Love ya. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What you got?
This next one's called Devil Do.
Ain't nobody gonna love me like the devil do. Ain't nobody gonna love me like the devil do. Well, you can dump me in a river, gonna clean my sin, but you might as well dump me in a bucket of gin, 'cause there ain't nobody gonna love me like the devil do. Ain't nobody gonna love me like the devil do. Ain't nobody gonna love me like the devil do. Get me drunk on whiskey, drunk on wine. Well, the Lord don't like it, but the devil don't mind. And there ain't nobody gonna love me like the devil do. another day.